Welcome to the morning show. It's Sunday, the 8th of July, and I'm Biola Labi. On today's show, I'll be talking about African storytelling. First, I'll be bringing you my interview with Saidi Balogun, Chioma Akpotha, and Folu Storms, the cast of my new movie, Lara and the Beat, premiering today, and then Femi Odubemi, the creator of several of our favorite African TV series. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Arise News. You're watching The Morning Show with me, Biola Labi. Lara and the Beat is a coming-of-age movie about the young and beautiful Giwa sisters caught in the center of a financial scandal with their late parents' media empire. The sisters are forced out of their privileged bubble and must learn to build their own future through music and enterprise to salvage their family's past. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Do I look like Rihanna? No. Do I look like your mama? No. Do I look like Beyonce? No.
Wait, that was it?
Yeah, Lara Giwa featuring Drake. It makes sense. We're rich. Ladies, today is the day.
What?
Today's going to propose.
Can we not share this moment with your social media followers?
Excuse me, you're going to need them one day. All 3 million of them.
Spar beauty day.
I can't make it. We have a board meeting in the office tomorrow.
As a result of Giwa Media's refusal to perform their civic responsibility, the warrant of restraint on the building and everything inside it has been obtained by the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. We would like everyone in this building to vacate it with immediate effect.
Lara,
You just don't have anywhere to go.
where you go? Go for one more.
Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go while my feet are on the ground. On my knees, begging please, set me free.
Do we deserve this?
Of course you're
Lara Giwa. I came here for a record deal. Are you going to make me a superstar?
Plus, I also produce with Big T over here.
Was it that bad?
I really hope that your album blows it because poverty is not interesting at all.
Your parents believed in something different, and I wanted to be a part of that. They believed you and your sister could accomplish whatever you set your heart on as long as you had each other. I believe that too. God has a plan for all of us, and you and your sister have a place in that plan.
It's time now to bring you my interview with Saidi Balogun, Chioma Akpotha, and Folu Storms, where they talked about what excites them about Nollywood's evolution, their characters, and Lara and the Beat, and more. Let's take a look. Thank you guys for being on the show. I'm so excited to have you guys. And we're going to be talking about Lara and the Beat, the new film, which I have the privilege to be the executive producer of. So I actually want to start with Chioma, who plays Auntie Patience. When we called you, what were some of the first things you were thinking about when you got the call from us?
Okay, Tolu had called and said and introduced herself, so I was like, oh, fine. And at that time, I remember B.I.G. was still in the cinema, so I thought she wanted me to do some activations for her and all of that. So she says, no, that we have a film we want you to star in. I'm like, okay, fine, I hear you, whatever. She says, no, we're serious, you know. So she called for a meet, and we met, and that was it.
So I have to say, I'm a big fan of your work. I've always been a huge fan of your work. And I'd always been looking for an opportunity to work with you. And one of my biggest concerns was that when you got the script, you might not be interested in the role because the role is a bit different.
Yes.
And you play an older person. Was that, I mean, were you hesitant about that? Were you worried about that?
Yes, I was extremely worried, but Tolu had told me that that I shouldn't bother, that makeup was going to do all. I said, yes, makeup will do the aging, but, you know, she says that she knows it will work. And I had to believe in her for believing in me, so I made it work. She made it work, and on set it was fantastic. I didn't even need a lot of makeup to play the role. So because Auntie Patience was Uncle Bimbo's wife, but they made it look like a younger wife that he probably got married at later.
I'm not sure Bimbo Manuel will agree with you, but sure.
Okay, so that was it. It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed the role.
Folu, I have a question for you. So you are an on-air person. You're known more as an on-air personality. I know you also host a few shows here and there. Did you always want to act and sort of expand yourself in that way, or have you sort of been acting on and off?
It's such an interesting question because my whole life, through my childhood, I've actually always been in theatre and plays, but it wasn't something I really knew I could do as a profession. It didn't really occur to me. My father's a lawyer, so that was sort of in my mind. I trained, I qualified in the UK, I qualified in Nigeria, and that was the path I was on. It was only after moving back, I sort of was like, well, you know, I can do other things, all these other skill sets, things I used to do as hobbies. You know, I was in musicals in my master's year as a hobby, and I was like, well, you can do this. And my first probably like film role was a short film in London. Again, it was for like a London Film School final project. And that's when I just thought, I love this. It's a true freedom, which I get on stage, but it's a different skill set doing it for screen, right? So when I got the call, I didn't hesitate. I was like, yeah, please, I'm ready. This is what I'm trying to do. So it was just very exciting, and I made that conscious decision a few years ago and spent a bit of time trying to train a little bit more to get back into it, and then trying my hand at the film industry here, so.
As an executive producer, I'm also curious, how did you get people out there to know that you wanted to do this? Because actually, I mean, what happened was someone backed out of the role, and people were like, we know the right person, and they're like, Folu Storms. And how did people get to know that you wanted to do this, just so other people can understand?
You know, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that whenever God places things in your path, there are opportunities that you must learn from. The first proper opportunity to explore my acting side came a few years ago when Relativity Media were looking to take people for courses, and that's when I went with Lala and a couple of other people, and that because I then left actually my first proper media job. I was working for Indani at the time as a producer, and I said, well, I spent 3 years doing this. I really want to be front of camera, so I need to make that leap because, you know, everybody likes a paycheck.
Yes.
So it was a scary idea. And then also after that, I'd asked Lala again, and I said, listen,
and that's Lala Akindoju,
Lala
who
Akindoju,
actually did casting for this film.
Exactly. And I'd asked her again just a year after, right after we finished the film training, and I said, what do I do to make people more aware? And she goes, well, a lot of people look at your social media, right? And on your social media, you tend to post a lot of stuff about your radio. Why don't you start posting about your acting? So I started putting throwback things of what I'd done. I'd acted in Frostbite, which is a short film that Indani did. I'd done stuff at Relativity Media School. So I just started posting throwbacks. Oh, Throwback Thursday, or playing this character. And that's when people became more aware that this is something that I do. And so social media, for young people watching, it's so incredibly powerful. It's such a great marketing tool. That's why we buy shoes, clothes, everything now. So why don't you market your skill set, your business? That's what social media is for. So that's how I've been able to plug into roles, because people have suddenly remembered that, oh yeah, she does this now, so let's try.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Saidi Balogun, I'm going to come to you. You are synonymous with Nollywood. When people think of Nollywood, when people think of Yoruba films, they think of you. We've worked with you in the past, and it's always a pleasure working with you. As someone that is seeing the industry evolving and changing, what are the things that excite you about what's happening in Nollywood as an industry?
First and foremost, let me start with Lara and the beat. It's part of the thing. You see, we're growing higher now, and one thing makes me happy. The lady sitting by my far left, I know her then to be an actor. She does act. Now she's directing, she's producing. You can see the sense of things in her. And you are here, I'm a fantastic lady, doing it, taking us to the next level. picture-wise. What are we talking about? So Nollywood, we going higher, higher. And again, guys out there, they are taking over. Yeah, they are telling us what we can do better, they can do best. Yes. Because if you watch Lara and the Beat, you give it all to Biola Alabi, yes, to Lucia Gold. I mean, I'm happy, I'm alive, healed and healthy. Seeing this happening before me, she did stage somewhere, blah, 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 blah. Now, she's doing the picture thing. Special thanks to Biola Alabi. And I'm happy, very, very happy. You're taking us to the next level. We are the giant of Africa, like we all see. You're proving us your work. All Banana Island goes, I'm nominated.
Yes, congratulations.
Best supporting actor.
Congratulations.
I've never been nominated for years. Look at it. Yes. From a woman. Africa. We are truly the giant. You are making me feel now we are truly the giant of Africa. Yeah. Kudos to you. All of you. Kudos to you.
And I think with Lara and the Beat, we're trying to do that by bringing in different elements of our culture and our heritage. But the one thing we need to continue to do is raise that level. So there's so many films that we're producing, but a lot of that also isn't sort of keeping the fabric of who we are in our culture, especially our languages. How do we need to do that and do that more, especially someone who has done a lot of Yoruba films? What is your advice to the industry?
My advice is we should flaunt what we have. We should be able to tell you, like we have, like I've said it now, the super women, they're all here now. You see, I am proud of my culture. Like I always say, we should. I know you can do it. From Lara and the Beat, if you are able to bring different genres, the Yoruba actors, the this, the that, the young musicians coming to sing and say, yes, we have it enough. She's a fantastic actress. She sang there, right?
She did.
If you can do it, why don't you tell the whole world we are proper? The giant. I've done the two cast and the Ankara thing. You can do even best. From what I've seen here now, you can come out and show the whole world we have a culture. I said it on air today. I took the teaser to Brazil and I played it for a producer there. He called me the second day. He said, are you sure this is from Nigeria and a woman? And I said, capital, yes.
Wow.
And you know Brazil, they love culture there. The producer cannot wait to meet her. There and then he doffed his cap. Wow. So you can do it. It's by telling it through the picture angle. Putting on good clothes, African words, and fine. We have fantastic singers. And I love one thing about Lara and the Beat. The casting, perfect. Because if you have a good story, good culture to portray, people who are to bring it out the way it should be, if they are not there, forget it. You're not making any statement.
Wow,
that's the truth.
Chioma, when you look at the cast of the film, have you you been in a lot of films with different people? Or was this almost the same time like you've been in the film with some of the, say, like all these people? Especially Uncle Bimbo, have you ever been in a film together?
No, Uncle Bimbo, I think I got close to working with him, but I don't think it worked out. But for all the other people, I think it was my first time working most of them. But Uche, I work with. Chinedu, I work with all the time. And DME, I've been on set with DME, but every other person on the set was my first time.
What about him? Is this the first film you've both been in together?
Yeah, I'm about to say that. That was the first film.
Yes, and
majority of them.
Yes, and adding to what he said, I believe we're the ones to tell the African story better than, and an indigene will tell the story better than a foreigner. They can't tell our story better than we do. So from the little we can, even if it's from the Yoruba films, the Igbo films, let's try to, portray our culture. That's why sometimes if I do some traditional films, I chip in the language here, there, and I get calls from people saying, oh, I want to come back home, I want to do this, I want to do that. I actually forgot how to tie my wrapper, so it's not to the left, it's not to the right, it's to the left, and all of that. So there are many ways we can portray the African culture through our music, through our movies, and through, social media.
So tell people a little bit about your role in Lara and the Beat and how it sort of ties into the Lara, the lead character.
Okay, Auntie Patience was like a nanny or an au pair, or she was to Lara and Dara. Lara is Shei, and Dara is Somkele. They're the children of the Giwa family, who I worked with over the years, and I saw how they raised their children and how they wanted to impact their, legacy onto them, but it didn't happen. They passed on. I looked after them.
Yeah, you looked after the kids. Yeah.
After the kids, and when they had that, that breakdown, that meltdown, they had nowhere else to go to. They had tried to just put their head somewhere, but it didn't work. They had to come back to me, and like normal, I just welcomed them with an open arm, and it taught me a lot. Auntie Patience's character taught me a lot, how to, despite how Lara threw a lot of tantrums, how she put me down in front of my family, in front of, people, I still welcomed her because I just knew she didn't know better.
I felt like the character was just so dignified at all times.
Were
and
you
she channeling someone? Were you thinking of someone? Was it
I was thinking of my mom.
Yeah,
my mom at all times didn't have any barriers around her. She just had her heart, and her arms were always wide open to anyone who was willing to come around her. And so it was natural for me to play Auntie Patience. And it's not too far from who I am, truly. So looking back on set, I just wish it never ended, but it had to end. So it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was second to nature.
Yeah, it was a beautiful film, and you're so amazing in it, and I just can't wait for the whole world to see it.
Yes.
Folu, I want to ask you some questions about working with Lara, the character Lara, and sort of, and your character. Tell us a little bit about your character, Tina.
Just before I go into Tina, I just wanted to say that Chioma on set, I was watching just behind the scenes, she was really embodying, the kind of calmness you brought to the set. You weren't aware of it, because in productions there's chaos that happens, and she was just so quick to always say, okay, what is the hair? Come and sit down, we'll do the hair, we'll sort this out. And that was just her in action, and it really it rubbed off on me, and I just thought, this is so nice, man. Look at these awesome people. No, so I just had to just tell that story. As you're telling the story, I was like, you don't know, but people are always watching, and it just brought such calmness to something that could have been a hectic situation. But the character I was playing, her name is Tina, and Tina is, this little bit of a perfectionist. She has to deal with Lara, who is such a high-strung character and always screaming and throwing stuff. So, Tina herself doesn't come from very well-to-do backgrounds, but she wants to sort of be among. She wants to. So she's watching everything that's going on. She's taking things in, and I think there are aspects to the character that get revealed a little bit later on in the film that you then see how she's assimilated things and how she works out. Because even in the way she dresses, her style, a lot of it is almost like trying to emulate what Lara and her friends are doing. It was really fun to play, I have to be honest. It was very fun. Working with everybody on set was great. It was my second time working with director, with Chosin, and that's fantastic. I'd worked with him, funny enough, earlier on in the year on a TV series, so it was when I saw him, I was like, dude, this is so nice. So again, I really do believe that when God puts things in your way, there's for a reason. There's no such thing as a coincidence. It is really purposeful, and you must just use those opportunities. So it was great learning to work with people. It was great working with a lot of the musicians who are coming into acting properly for the first time. Then watching other people deal with, oh yeah, hurry up and wait, of filmmaking. And then I suddenly felt really old, as though I'd been doing this for years. I was like, oh guys, it's okay. This is how it's, just calm down. It's going to be all right. We'll still shoot. It'll be good.
Did you feel like that was where there was so much more knowledge gap between actors and musicians? Because with actors, in a way, you're solo. You're just sort of you. While with acting, it's such a collaborative effort. If Chioma comes on set and she's not feeling great, it sort of rubs off on the characters. It's such a different art form than when you're just a solo artist. What was your thought about that?
Absolutely. I think that was the biggest challenge, I would say, that the non-actors really had on set, or if you haven't done film or television or really worked with crews, because we're team players, right? Whenever you're putting together any kind of production, and you have to understand that, okay, you're vibrating off of other people's energies. A lot of your acting itself is reacting. So that learning to stay within your character, even with the time delays, even with the pressure, and as soon as it's time to go, you're good to go. So that was interesting, but it was great to talk to Shay and everybody and Vector, and just say, listen, yes, no, it does happen. It's normal everywhere in the world. It's completely normal. We are not an exception. It's not like, because sometimes when things go wrong on set or things are delayed, we automatically want to blame somebody. In Nigeria, I find that we sometimes want to say, oh, it's this person's fault. No, it's normal.
It's time now for a short break on the morning show. I'll bring you the second part of my interview after the break. Stay tuned.